Jews, no gays. High up in the Ozark Hills in the state of Arkansas, dozens of people have been working hard, building houses and a new type of community. It's called Return to the Land, and it is a town open to white people only.
Okay.
It's so weird watching black people get mad at white people for starting functioning white communities. It's like, you know how happy we'd be to see black people start a functioning black community? Like, we would leave you to it. We would be, oh my goodness, good for you guys.
History says otherwise. Every time black Americans built thriving, independent towns, white racists didn't celebrate it. They bombed it. They burned it down, or they buried them under lakes. Greenwood, Tulsa, Black Wall Street. Greenwood wasn't just doing well, it was booming. Doctors, lawyers, pilots, banks, theaters, luxury shops. White racists couldn't stand to see black excellence thrive on its own terms. So in 1921, they dropped bombs, set fires, murdered people in the streets. Survivors said they saw white neighbors wearing their stolen clothes the next day. Rosewood, Florida. Rosewood had 2-story homes, a school, a post office, businesses. A lie about a white woman led to a massacre. White mobs destroyed the whole town. Oscarville, Georgia, now Lake Lanier. Black farmers owned land, made money, raised families. White residents didn't like that. So in 1912, they terrorized every black person out of town. Decades later, the whole community was flooded to build Lake Lanier. Their homes are still at the bottom. Seneca Village, NYC, now Central Park. This was a stable, middle-class neighborhood. Black families owned land, voted, and lived free. Then the city tore it down to build a park. The land is now worth hundreds of millions. The original owners got nothing. Polaja in Susanna, Alabama, now Lake Martin. Polaja had its own school, businesses, and even a railroad. Susanna had homes, churches, and deep roots. Both towns were drowned, literally, under Lake Martin to build a hydroelectric project. And today, people jet ski over the bones of a black legacy. Vanport, Oregon, built during World War II. It was one of the only places black people could live due to racist housing laws. In 1948, officials intentionally failed to warn black residents about rising floodwaters. When the dike broke, a wall of water wiped out Vanport in a single day. Over 18,000 residents were displaced. These towns were thriving, innovative, self-sufficient black communities. And every single time, that success was met with white rage, jealousy, and destruction. Over 200 black towns destroyed by mobs, policy, bulldozers, and floods. This country never minded black poverty. It fears black prosperity.
Shalom, shalom. Before I get started, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rokakadash. I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that rule well over the flock, that taught us all this 100% truth. A few Akim and Akwathi out there listening and learning, shalom. You cancel the likewise doctrine, this great millstone. Shalom to your brothers as well. Salutations to the hopeful elect. Now, as you've seen, Eve went in on a little history about, prospering so-called blacks, in the history books, You can go and look up some of them things and you can find it. And that was just some of them, this place was never created for us to prosper here in the first place, Let me get a scripture real fast. This is Micah 2:10. Arise ye and depart, for this is not our rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you even with the sword destruction, man. And then you go in that video, you see Edomites talking about black folks getting mad because they're starting to build their own cities and they don't want, they don't want you so-called Negroes there, and that they will be happy that we will make our own and prosper on our own. But that's a bald-faced lie. As you can see, when the young lady went to a couple of into the history on some of these things, every time our people thrive, the white man came in and destroyed it, man. It's nothing new. They've been doing it, you know. So you need to pay attention to those type of things, because that's how Esau moves. He's a bloody man. He's extremely thirsty for blood, you know. And I got Chat GPT here, and I pulled up a couple of things myself, you know, because Esau has to be exposed and will be exposed, and anything that's hidden will come into the light, man. You know. This is Chat GPT. This says, here's a list of thriving black cities or communities in the U.S. that was destroyed or severely undermined by racism, government policy, violence, or economic sabotage. And Esau was doing all of these things to our people in the 50s, the 60s, the 70s. You know, destroying like Black Wall Street, thriving. They come in, they destroy it. Certain places that was thriving, they cause floods to roll through there, destroy it, and then they rebuild on it. Or, like the lady said, people's water skin on these people's, over these people's houses. They destroyed houses underwater. You know? Because y'all trust these people, man. I don't know how much we got to tell y'all that you cannot trust these Edomites, man. You cannot trust these Edomites, man. A lot of y'all think racism is done and over with, but as you see in the times that we're living in, and even more now since Nero done got into office, Trump, the orange man, that racism is fueling, the fire has been fueled again on a higher level, you know, because it's never died out. The fire has always been burning, but now you got Trump, or I call them the gasoline for that fire, and now you got all the other Edomites starting to show their true colors, letting you know that, hey, they still hate you, Jake. I don't know why y'all want to be mad at these people for so-called building their own and complaining about it. Ain't no need to complain about it. Let them have their shit, because ultimately they're going to build up, and Yahweh Shem Yahushai is going to tear it down, man. This is Ecclesiasticus 12 and 10. Never trust thy enemy, for like iron, as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust had not been altogether wiped away. You know, this man's wickedness is going to always be there, no matter how he hides it. He got a lot of you people fooled out here. You know, a lot of you so-called blacks was supporting Trump, and y'all starting to realize that this man was never nothing in the first place. He was never for you. He's not pro-black. I don't know why you people really walking around here, you Jakes, being very simple-minded and very stupid. You so-called Negroes, putting y'all trust in this devil, man, or these devils in general, trying to hold hands with them. Let me go back to Chat GPT real quick. This is number one. This is Greenwood, Black Wall Street, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Destroyed 1921. Tulsa race massacre. What happened? A white mob looted and burned 35 square blocks, killing an estimated 100 to 300 people and leaving thousands homeless. Why it mattered? One of the most affluent black communities in the U.S. at that time. You know, and hey, Esau came in and he destroyed it. That's how Esau get down, man. You know, they hate you, Jake, and they're gonna always hate you, no matter what. This is Ezekiel 35 and 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in their time of their calamity and the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, said the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Sith thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. And that's the beauty of it all. All of these things that this man thought that he got away with, the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is going to come see about him. And he's going to get put in those chains, and he's going to be put to death in mass numbers and ultimately wiped off the face of this earth, because that's how they treated our people. You know, they try to destroy us. Let me go get a scripture. This is Psalm 83, a song or psalm of Asaph. Keep not thy silence, O God, hold not thy peace, and be still, and be not still, O power. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites of Moab, and the Hagarenes, Jebal, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines, and with the inhabitants of Tyre. Assur also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot Salah. So all of these different nations always have been against our people, man. All these nations hate us. But we talking about Esau right now with his perpetual hatred for you blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, when y'all walking around holding hands with them, not understanding that these people hate you and they hiding it, man. But y'all finna start to see in the times that we coming in with Jacob's trouble being around the corner. Number 2, this is Rosewood, Florida, destroyed 1923. Rosewood Massacre, what happened? After false accusations against a black man, a white mob burned the town to the ground. Why it mattered? Rosewood was a prosperous, self-sufficient black town with churches, schools, and businesses. See, we don't need Esau to flourish. We'll actually flourish even more than these Edomites, man. You know, if anything, they will need us, because you remember, we are the salt of the earth. You know, these people will need us before we need them. Remember, we taught them everything they know. Everything. You know? After a false accusation against a black man, a white mob burned this town to the ground. That's Esau for you. Y'all gonna understand. But like I said before, it's gonna come back around, because this man never had mercy. And he who has no mercy, who that shall not show mercy shall have no mercy. This is James 2:13. For he shall have judgment without mercy that hath showeth no mercy. And mercy rejoiceth against judgment. You know, these people never showed our people mercy. So they not going to have no mercy when, Lord willing, we get the kingdom and they go on them chains. It's going to be a constant ass beating, man. They not going to have no mercy. I can hear them in the kingdom crying about how they being treated, but at the same time not thinking about all the years and years and years and years of bloodshed and persecution and torture and raping and robbing and pillaging, all of that they did to our people. No mercy. And it's going to come back around to you. Paradise Valley and Black Bottom, Detroit, Michigan. 1940s through the 1960s, urban renewal and freeway construction. It got, what happened, bulldozed by highways for highways I-357, 375, Salakia, and redevelopment. Why it matter, cultural hub for black music and business, home to jazz legends and thriving black enterprise. You see that? They tore it down and put a damn freeway over it, man. Where these people were thriving at. They tore it down and put a whole freeway on it, man. Haiti District, Birmingham, North Carolina, destroyed in 1960. Urban renewal highway construction. You see that? What happened? US 147 highway construction wiped out much of the neighborhood. Why it mattered, known as the black capital of the South, Haiti had its own black banks, schools, and hospitals. You see that? Our people been doing this. But every time we doing good, here come Esau. Every single time. Seneca Valley, New York City, 1857 to build Central Park. You know, this place is where Central Park is now. That whole area where Central Park is in New York, that's an area where all so-called Negroes thrived, man. What happened? Black landowners were evicted using eminent domain. Why it mattered? It was one of the first significant free black land-owning communities in NYC. Fillmore District, San Francisco, California, 1960s to the 1970s, urban renewal. What happened? Thousands of black residents and jazz clubs were displaced for redevelopment. Why it mattered? Known as the Harlem of the West, it was a vital center for black culture and music, which black culture is pretty much deaf. But what we basically saying is our people was thriving, man. And these devils come in and destroy. Because that's what they do. This is Proverbs 4:14. Enter not into the path of the wicked, and go not in the way of evil men. Avoid it, pass not by it, turn from it and pass away. For they sleep not except they have done mischief. These people cannot sleep unless they making it hell for our people, man. And even their own people. They gets no sleep unless they causing something to fall, man. For they sleep except they have done mischief. And their sleep is taken away unless they cause something to fall. For they eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence. But the path of the just is as the shining light that shineth more and more unto the perfect day. You know, this truth don't continue to shine, man, and keep going out exposing these people. You know, but that's Edom for you. Like we say in down there every video when we going to talking about these Edomites. They hate you, Jake, and you're gonna find it out. You're gonna find it out real soon. Africville, Nova Scotia, Canada, for context. Destroyed 1960s. What happened? Black residents were forcibly relocated and the neighborhood was bulldozed. Why it matter? A self-sustaining black community for over a century targeted under the guise of modernization. You see that? Lincoln Heights, Cincinnati, Ohio. Suppressed. 1940 to 1960, denial of full cityhood, land stripping. What happened? Stripped of valuable land and denied economic development. Why it matter? One of the first self-governing black Salakia. Let me go grab that. Salakia.
Municipality. Municipality.
Municipality. Okay. Black municipalities north of the Mason-Dixon line. One of the first self-governing black municipalities north of the Mason-Dixon line. See? Stripped of valuable land and deny economic development. See, they just took their land. That's how Esau rolling, man. Let me see something. I'm going to get a scripture. Because this is Esau all day. This is Micah 2:1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. You remember, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. See, these people get away with these things because the earth was given into the wicked, man. Micah 2:2, and they covet fields. You see that? They covet fields. They take your land. They still do that to people this day. They still take your land. That's how you know you're not free in this land, Jake. You're not free. You just got privileges. And when you don't follow through on your end of the bargain, Esau takes your privileges, man. He take your land, take your car, take your house, and they covet fields and take them by violence. Didn't they just say these people was getting violently destroyed? These Edomites was just bringing violence upon our people and taking their land and burning up their cities. You see that? The scriptures never lie. And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. You remember the lady said that let me go back to that video. She said one of those places that's a lake now worth millions of dollars, and the dead owner and their relatives ain't get none of that money because Esau.
Fayetteville, Georgia, now Lake Lanier. Black farmers owned land, made money, raised families. White residents didn't like that. So in 1912, they terrorized every black person out of town. Decades later, the whole community was flooded to build Lake Lanier. Their homes are still at the bottom. Seneca Village, NYC, now Central Park. This was a stable, middle-class neighborhood. Black families owned land, voted, and lived free. Then the city tore it down to build a park. The land is now worth hundreds of millions. The original owners got nothing. Elijah and Susanna.
That land is worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And the people that owned it, they still got generations people. They got their people still out here. Didn't see none of that money. The city get all that money. And that was a thriving black community. And that in New York right there. That's why we always say, and they coveted fields, man, and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage, man. You see that? Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, behold, against this family do I devise an evil, from which ye shall not remove from your necks. Neither shall ye go haughtily, for this time is evil. And that day shall one take up a parable against you, and lament with a dolefulness lamentation, and say, we be utterly spoiled. We have changed the portion of my people. How hath he removed it from me? Turned away, he had divided our fields. See, this is going to come back around to you, Esau. All them things that you did to our people, the Most High sees all of that and has not forgotten, man. Has not forgotten at all. This is Amos 1:11. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4 I will not turn away the judgment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, the Israelites, you blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. You see that? This man is always had a perpetual hate for you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. And it's showing, you see how they deporting y'all up out of the land, And Jake, they coming for us next. They gonna try to come for us as well. While y'all trying to flourish here, that's why we always bring that scripture out. Arise ye and depart. For this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you, even with a sword destruction, man. You don't want to prosper here. You just work, live your life according to these laws, statutes, and commandments, man. And try to get right with Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Because this place is everything that you working for in this land it's corruptible, man. We working for things that's uncorruptible. You know, things that last forever, new bodies. You know, whatever the Most High has in store for us in the kingdom, man. That's what we striving for. Things that cannot be destroyed. But y'all too busy on this side, trusting in your enemies. And then he come in like a flood and take your shit, man. And they finna show you that when the MOTB come out. You ain't gonna be able to have nothing at that point, and a lot of you gonna go chasing right after that rice, man. You know. Psalm 73 and 5. They are not in trouble as other men. What towns have y'all heard of that was destroyed by so-called blacks? We went in their land and destroyed their land. None. We ain't never went to these people's neighborhoods like today. When riots and stuff kick off, they come to our land, and you Jakes, y'all be out there right with them, looting and destroying your own community. And then they go right back to their own community, and they got their stores and they land and their houses intact. But they come to your neighborhood and protest and loot and destroy your stores, burn up your houses. Psalm 73 and 5. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. They don't go through what you Israelites go through. They don't go through what we go through. They don't get oppressed like we get oppressed. Therefore, pride compassed them about as a chain. Violence covered them as a garment. They walk around with so much pride, man. And like I said earlier in this video, since Trump is in office, their pride level is up on a whole nother level right now. On a whole nother level. And it's going to get real life threatening soon. And you Jakes are going to see it. You're going to get caught up in it. Because you chose not the love of the scriptures, man. And to put your faith and trust in Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. And when these people come in like a flood, they coming right for you Israelites, man. Lord willing, I'm a part of that number, and brothers of like-minded that are like-minded are covered up with their heads of protection in that time to where we can escape some of these things. And I ain't talking about getting raptured up or none of that, because we're going to have to go through that fire to be counted worthy. And then eventually beamed up into the chariots. But we finna go and go through this fire. And a lot of you two-thirds, you finna get caught up in it. You know? Therefore, pride compassed them about as a chain, and violence covereth them as a garment. Their eyes stand out with the fatness. They have more than their heart can wish. They are corrupt, and they speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily. They set their mouth against the heavens, and their tongue walketh through the earth, man. You see that? All they lies, all that pride talk, speaking on oppression, speaking like they never going to see adversity. But the tables are turning slowly for surely. And everything Esau has put on the table, everything Esau has put on that plate, on that table, he's about to eat all of that and then some for the atrocities and everything that he has done to our people. And we're going to get that payback. Another scripture and I'm going to close out. This is Ezekiel chapter 25 and 13. Because this is what's coming back upon you, Esau. Since you feel like you're getting away with the things that you did to our people and what you're getting ready to try to do to our people and getting ready to do to the 2/3, the Most High finna get back at you with his men, with his elect. Ezekiel 25 and 13. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, I will stretch out my hand upon Edom, you so-called white people, and will cut off man and beast from it. And I will make it desolate from Teman, and they of Dedan shall fall by the sword. And I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel. And they shall do in Edom according to mine anger and according to my fury. And they shall know my vengeance, saith the Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. And with that being said, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai by Hashem Ruach HaKodesh. Shalom.